Have you ever thought that a simple game of hide-and-seek could turn into a nightmare? What if I told you that, in some stories, this seemingly innocent game led to real, inexplicable events? Stories that blur the line between what's real and what's fiction, leaving behind a trail of mysteries and supernatural phenomena. Could these cases be mere coincidences, or is there something more sinister at play? Get ready to embark on a journey where fear mixes with reality. Are you ready to discover the darker side of hide-and-seek? Stick around, because throughout this video, we'll explore urban legends and real accounts that will make you rethink the boundaries between the mundane and the macabre. Don't leave until the end. The revelations might be more chilling than you imagined. Hide-and-seek is a simple game. We've all played it at least once. One person hides, the other seeks. Sounds harmless, right? However, there are stories around the world where this game, seemingly innocent, transforms into something far more terrifying. And the question that arises is, why do these stories keep being told? What do they have in common? Are we just ignoring signs, or is there something deeper and darker going on? You've probably heard some stories circulating among friends about a game of hide-and-seek that ended strangely. Maybe someone disappeared, or something inexplicable happened, and that's where the mystery lies. There are real accounts, with verifiable testimonies, that take the fun of a simple game into an entirely new perspective, a perspective of fear, of things we can't fully understand. Let's start with a story from 1987, in the small town of Creston, Iowa, USA. A group of friends gathered to play hide-and-seek on a sunny afternoon. Everything seemed normal until one of the children, young Billy, decided to hide in a different spot, an old barn that had been there since the war. His friends weren't too comfortable with the idea, but Billy insisted. When the game ended, Billy couldn't be found. They searched for hours, calling his name, but he had vanished. The most terrifying part was that, a few weeks later, strange whispers began circulating in the town about the place where Billy hid. Witnesses claimed to have heard laughter and cries coming from the barn, even though it was empty. The case was never solved, and today it's remembered as one of Creston's most unsettling urban legends. But why does this keep happening? Why do stories like this continue to be passed down, even when the answers seem out of reach? It's because, in many of these cases, what's happening is beyond our understanding. And this next story from Brazil shows just how real these mysteries can feel. In São Paulo, a group of children were playing hide-and-seek one summer afternoon in a wooded area just outside their town. Everything seemed fine until three friends decided to wander off and hide in the forest, far from the others. When the game ended, only two of the children returned. The third child, a boy named Joe, was nowhere to be found. His friends called for him, but there was no sign of him, no trace, no noise. As hours passed, the search intensified, but still no Strangely, the next night, people in the town started hearing footsteps in the forest and a low, eerie laugh, as if someone was still playing hide-and-seek, but there was no one to be seen. As time passed, the story spread, and the place where Joe had hidden became known as the Forbidden Spot. The children stopped playing in that area, and the legend of the boy who disappeared spread through the town, a chilling reminder that some things might not stay hidden when we least expect it. So, what do these stories have in common? Are they mere coincidences, or is there something deeper and darker going on? There's a theory that suggests that games like hide-and-seek are in some way connected to our fear of the unknown, to what lies beyond our sight and comprehension. Some scholars believe that the fear of being found, the tension of the game, and the feeling of hiding in an unfamiliar space can awaken something in the human subconscious. This leads us to question, when we hide, what exactly are we trying to escape from? And what, in fact, lurks in the shadows? In many cases, fear can cause our minds to amplify sounds, movements, and even create images in our heads. Perception can be distorted, and what seemed like a simple shadow or distant noise can turn into something real and terrifying. However, there are accounts that can't be so easily explained. The stories of Billy and Joe share a common element. What happens afterward? People claim to hear and see things that can't be perceived by everyone. And still, these stories continue to be told and passed on from generation to generation. What are we really saying when we share these stories? The line between the real and the supernatural has never been so thin. When does fiction begin and reality end? Games, especially ones that involve hiding, activate a part of our brain tied to fear, caution, and even imagination. Maybe that's what makes us question if we are truly alone when we play, or if something else is around us, something we can't see but is watching, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Hide and seek is just a game, or is it a gateway to something much darker? And what about the echoes of these stories in cultures around the world? How do urban legends and horror tales spread and take on lives of their own? The truth is, we don't know what's behind these stories. Maybe they are just expressions of human fear, or maybe, as many believe, there's something beyond our understanding. What we do know is that these stories continue to fascinate and haunt us, and with each one, the game of hide and seek becomes something much more than just a pastime. Now, I ask you, have you ever experienced something like this? Have you ever played hide and seek and felt that something was wrong? Or maybe you've heard a story that left you shivering. We're not saying that all hide and seek stories have something supernatural, but what we can say is that, throughout history, the fear of the unknown and the feeling that something is watching us aren't new. Sensations, and they still persist to this day. Let me tell you one more story, this time from 1995, in Bogotá, Colombia. A group of 6 teenagers decided to spend the afternoon playing hide and seek in a secluded park. The location, known for its peacefulness, was nestled between tall trees and thick vegetation, making it the perfect spot for such a game. However, one of the kids, young Anna, decided to hide in an area of the park no one else knew about, an old cave that had been sealed off for years, but still had a small entrance covered by bushes. Her friends weren't too comfortable with the idea, but Anna insisted. When the game ended, her friends couldn't find her. They searched for hours, calling her name, but she had vanished. The most terrifying part was that, the next day, the police found Anna, but she was far from the park, sitting in the middle of the street with wide eyes and a look of sheer terror on her face. She couldn't remember how she had ended up there, and even stranger, she was covered in scratches and had her feet caked in mud. When questioned about what had happened, Anna simply said, "I saw something. Something watching me in the cave, ... Something that wasn't human." Anna's story quickly spread throughout the city, but it was never clarified what happened that afternoon. The park was closed for a time, and to this day, people avoid talking about that place. Many say there's something more to the cave than meets the eye, something that still lurks in the shadows, waiting for its next victim. Finally, in 2003, in the countryside of Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, another terrifying story surfaced. A group of 4 young people decided to explore an old, abandoned school building while playing hide and seek. The school had been deactivated for over a decade, and although the structure was in ruins, it still had a mysterious charm that attracted curious visitors. The group split up, with 2 hiding on the upper floor and the others searching downstairs. Everything seemed normal until the group searching upstairs heard a scream coming from the upper floor. They ran up, but what they found left them in shock. One of the friends was standing in the hallway, wide-eyed and gasping for breath. But the strangest part was that he wasn't in a state of panic. He looked too calm. The most disturbing part was when he said in a monotone voice, "He's coming." They tried to question him, but he didn't explain anything more, just kept repeating the same words. When the group tried to leave the building, the doors were inexplicably locked. The friend continued with the same empty expression, until, finally, the door was opened by someone outside. However, the person who had been with them looked completely different from before. His face had lost all color. His eyes were vacant, and his skin was as cold as if frozen. The group was never seen again at the location, and locals say the building is cursed. Whoever enters the building never leaves with the same energy as before, as if the school had claimed their souls, watching those who dare to play in its shadows. These stories of hide-and-seek show us how a simple game can turn into something much darker. And perhaps, when rethinking these experiences, we might look at fear in a new way, as a gateway to what we don't yet understand. What hides in the shadows could be more real than we think, and maybe, by playing hide-and-seek again, we might come face to face with something much truer than we would like. And you, do you have a story like this? Has your game of hide-and-seek ever turned into a nightmare? Share with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to get more videos like this. Who knows? The next mystery could be yours. Remember, what hides in the shadows might be more real than we think.